Hi everyone, this is your Professor Kate, and I just want to talk you through the Essay 3 assignment on definition. So overall, this essay is considered a definition essay. It will also be an argument essay, so we're kind of combining a new form of writing along with what we just did. In order to understand definition as a strategy, you should read chapter 10. There are great examples in this section, including one that we're reading this week, What is Poverty, that can really help you understand how description and senses can really help you to explain what your word means. And it also has that practical advice and the checklists for revision, those sorts of things that will help you when you write your essay. The goal is to write an extended definition of a word, which means we define a word in great detail and then make some kind of take some kind of stance about how it should be used. We're going to use multiple kinds of definitions in this paper, and you'll learn about those in chapter 10. And we'll also be using argument and rhetoric, as we learned for the last essay. And the last goal of the paper is to come to a conclusion about the word's usage based on the research that you find, so the definitions, the etymology that you're finding, but also your personal reflections on using the word and observing people using the word. Your thesis will be the conclusion that you draw after you do the research. So after you learn about the meaning of the word, how the word has changed over time, then at that point you can reflect on your experiences and make a conclusion. If you need extra help coming up with a thesis, my explanation so far isn't working, answer this question. How should we use this word and why? In terms of a topic, I want you to pick a word that you find offensive. It might be something that other people also find offensive. It might be something that you don't know anyone who sees it as offensive, but you do. It's completely up to you. If you think it's offensive, then it works. Make sure you pick an English word also so that we can look it up in the dictionaries, in the databases. Offensive could mean a lot of different things. It could be expletive, it could be controversial, but it doesn't have to be. I've had people use a word like woman before, and it's just sort of the way people say it puts the negative connotation on it. In order to have the best paper possible, when choosing a word, this is my tip. Pick something that you are familiar with and that you have a relationship with so that you can really put your personal spin on how this word is used. And secondly, choose a word that might have some ambiguity. You might not know that until you start looking it up, but sometimes if a word has multiple definitions or multiple uses, or it's changed over time, that can be helpful in writing your paper and understanding the word more. All right. The next thing we need to think about are sources. So you need to include at least 2 sources for this essay and cite them using MLA documentation. This is sort of to get you ready for English 102 when you'll be using the databases and doing citing in your papers. The types of sources you can use are listed in the module for this week, but you want to definitely focus on the database sources. Start there. They will give you the most specific information that you can find. In terms of logistics, pretty much the same as it's always been, 4 to 6 pages, double-spaced MLA format, and a works cited page with in-text citations as well. So this one will be a little bit more difficult because I'm not doing it for you this time. So you'll have to use your book and the knowledge that you have to find the citations for the words. You can also check out the definition essay breakdown as a way to kind of organize your thoughts for the essay, but I'm giving you a lot of free rein to choose how you want to organize this. I think it's good that you can sort of listen to your voice and your ideas and follow them through as long as you're meeting the paper requirements. One more thing to talk about, that's the rubric. It's sort of similar to what we've done in the past, but it's a little different because the topic's slightly different. You want to definitely have a clear thesis in your introduction. It should explain the nature of the word and take a stance on its usage or application. You want to have at least 3 definitions in your paper. So you'll read about those in the book this week, but you want to also analyze these definitions in connection with the thesis. I'm also looking at your argument. So are you using rhetoric, and observations and support to build the point that you're trying to make and convince people of your stance about the word. I'm looking at the introduction, body, and conclusion, as I always do. I'm looking at the two-source minimum, and then also the MLA format for both in-text citations and works cited page, which you'll learn more about in the module. And I'm also looking for something we've also been working on, using a signal phrase, using summary, paraphrase, and quotation, and making sure that after you include a source that you don't just stop there, but you explain, analyze why you included it, how it furthers your point. One last thing, we're going to be working on spelling, grammar, punctuation, 4 to 6 pages. And the last thing I want you to try to do, it's not a be-all, end-all, but I want you to go for it, is try to have less than 5 to-be verb constructions in your final draft of the paper. So we'll work on that when you get to revision. Don't worry about that yet. All right, if you guys have any questions about the paper, please let me know, and I hope that this was helpful.